Welcome back to another episode of Penji Podcast, where we talk about marketing, advertising, and all things related to your business. And today's guest is none other than Jonathan, my co-founder at Penji. Essentially, we are a creative tech startup that powers and enhances some of the world's top brands. I want us to dive a bit deeper into talking about the secrets behind some of the most successful brands, how they're navigating the world of AI, and also how they are able to distinguish themselves.
One thing when you're talking about the visual representations that I have is, and again, nothing against these companies, but there's a difference between a Marriott and an Airbnb. And there's a difference between buying something on Amazon versus ordering something from Etsy. Etsy's obviously might be a little bit more expensive, but you're getting something 100% custom made. The same with Airbnb, you're getting somebody's home, whereas you could stay inside of a hotel and get that experience, and it's great. But the difference is staying inside somebody's home, you're going to feel a different level of comfort and joy, hopefully, by doing those things. So I think your example is great.
You know, I agree with you, but man, like Ryan, hear me out, Ryan. Airbnb is not the same anymore, right? Like, what is with these fees nowadays? Is it just me where like you sign up for a room that's like what, $80, and then there's like cleaning fee, maintenance fee, you know, all kind. Next thing you know, you're paying like $500.
That's true. That is very true.
I don't know. I feel Airbnb is taking advantage of us.
Definitely.
Did you know Etsy is under a lot of fire lately? Because we all know what Etsy is, right? It's a place where creators, live human creators, can go on and sell their handmade goods, right? That's literally their entire business model. But lately, they are allowing just anybody to go on and create these handmade goods that are clearly not handmade. And Etsy is just doing it for money now. And so a lot of the creators on there, they just feel insulted. Like, this is clearly some Alibaba shit going on here, right? Like, this is not Etsy that supports creators anymore.
Yeah,
so
that's disappointing.
That's the same conversations where when people start to abandon the roots of these companies, chasing money, chasing AI, or just chasing fabricated stuff, it loses, it's like you said, I like what you said, authenticity and trust. For those of you who are heavily involved in marketing, advertising, and you want to invest in graphic design, if you haven't already, what you have to stop doing right now is designing yourself. I'm telling you, ask anyone you know, any marketer, any professional, you really should not be designing by yourself. And maybe you have to, I guess there's Canva as your option, but a little bit above that, you could go into Fiverr. Fiverr is not the greatest option, but hey, you know what? You'll get something. It'll probably a bit better than what you're making on your own. If you want to go a step up from that, then you have Upwork, Guru, Freelancer. You can hire a freelancer to work with you. You'll get a bit of, better quality work. And if you really have the budget, then okay, just go ahead and hire an in-house designer. Generally, if you are advertising and doing a lot of digital marketing, it's going to pay off to have a dedicated in-house designer. However, if you're like a lot of businesses right now who are suffering through COVID and you're trying to make a recovery and you don't have a budget for a dedicated in-house designer, then gotta promote ourselves, man. Then check out Penji, because our service is unique where you pay a flat subscription rate starting at $4.99, and we match you with a dedicated in-house team. So you're not just getting one designer, you're getting a project manager, graphic designer, illustrator, animator, UX UI designer, you name it, you get the whole entire team. So essentially, it's like you're able to hire a full dedicated design team, creative team that can help you do just about anything at a fraction of the cost. Check it out and you'll see why so many people are using Penji nowadays. Okay, on to the next topic, which is marketers gone wild. Now we're going to talk about all the things that you guys are doing wrong at home. Now, if you're an agency or marketer, now's the time to pay attention. First topic. What are people doing? What are salespeople doing wrong in 2023? And chances are they don't even know it.
The amount of scripted messages that I receive anywhere from 5 to 10 per day.
Oh my God.
And it's basically just people just spamming, trying to jump on a phone call.
The worst one is when Ryan, back me up on this one, right? The worst one is when, I hope this email finds you well.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Why do you guys spammers out there? Why do you do that? Why do you all say the same thing? I hope this email does not find me well. I am not well. Stop it.
Well, the other one is the LinkedIn is like, thank you for connecting with me. It's like as if like I really care about connecting back with you. They're trying to get you to download something. They're trying to get you to watch something. Is that there's no level of personalization and there's no deep rooted connection. At the end of the day, we're all human beings, right? Human beings, we want that level of care, that level of love, and that level of connection when it comes to sales, because we buy from people that we know and trust. So if that is all true, why are we going a step further and not giving and delivering that level of customization, right? The other thing that I've absolutely hated, and this happened to me last week, was somebody messaged me on LinkedIn, got my email using, I'm sure, some level of like, bot of some sorts, and then invited me through a calendar appointment to join a webinar. And I think that level, I never met this person before. I never talked to them, but I've seen that is an increasingly high and popular thing nowadays, that people are just blindly inviting other people into these webinars to jump on a call with them. And I think that level of that's so disrespectful and just disgusting. It's sleazy. And I would never want to buy from an individual that did that, because it already shows from the beginning that they're a liar and that they're a cheater. So I would say if that's the case, like, I don't know if you have anything that you want to add, because I know you're more on like the SEO side, but if you have anything to add to sales, like that's my number one pet peeve. But if you want to just go right into SEO, by all means.
Yeah, for me with sales, man, I am just tired of getting, because like you're gonna get spam. At least make it entertaining. At least try a new subject line. I hope this email finds you well. No, like why? Who taught you people? Yeah, that's my pet
Unfortunately, other social media people taught them that, and they think people like Grant Cardone and Gary Vaynerchuk, people are always going to just like steal whatever's really cool and then use it for themselves. So
if you're doing SEO, pay attention. Something you need to understand about SEO is that nobody actually knows how SEO works. Google does not tell anybody how their algorithm actually ranks different content. If you follow this one thing, this one strategy, this will cover all your bases and you will have actual success with SEO. You ready for this? Think like you're Google. Now, if you are Google and you are Google's crawl bots, what are you looking for? You are trying to give the user who is searching a keyword the best and shortest answer. That's your entire goal. You're trying to give your user the best answer. That's really it. There's nothing beyond that. Now, a couple years ago, it was the lengthiest, the longer the article, the better it ranks. Now, why did the bot do that? It's very simple, because at that time, this was long before there were AI writers, right? These are real people writing. And so it assumed that if somebody wrote a lot, it meant that they knew a lot, right? That's a safe assumption. If the article is very long, it must contain a good answer. Of course, Google quickly realized that was not the case. It evolved, and now we have ChatGPT, you have Jasper, you have all these AI writers. And so it's so easy to create content. So now, what is Google looking for? If you're the Google bot, again, visualize yourself as the Google bot. What are you looking for? You're looking for answers that are written by a person. So what does that mean? That means what's important to Google nowadays is that you're real. Anyone can create a fake profile. Anyone can write 10,000 articles nowadays. ChatGPT will do that in 10 minutes, not 2 minutes. If you want to rank, number one, try to convince Google that you're a real person. Really try to convince Google that this is a real person writing this. Have your social media all set up. So if you're an actual person, an actual writer, make sure that wherever you're publishing your content, you're using your real name. Actually update your own social media profile so that way Google knows that you're real. And when you're writing, know that it's okay to make mistakes. Actually, imagine you're Google bots, right? And you're crawling everything written by this one person all over the internet. And they have 100% score on Grammarly. They've never made a single grammar mistake. Does that sound like a person to you? Not to me, right? I know my dumbass will make tons of grammatical mistakes. So mistakes may at some point actually be an indicator that it's a good piece of content written by a real person. Yeah, just try to think that, like, if you were Google, what would you do? Also, another thing, make sure that you have a consistent voice. This was something that never mattered to Google before, but try to understand Google is trying to find real, authentic content written by a human. And so if it's reading a bunch of blogs on various different websites and it's looking at your social media, you don't know what Google's looking at. And it's seeing that you don't have a personality or that your voice changes too much. There's no consistent voice in your writing. It's going to flag you most likely as a bot or an AI writer. So now I'm not saying these are definite, but I'm saying these are things that are going to matter to Google in the age of AI. So if you're doing SEO, first thing you need to do, stop looking at different strategies and think like the Google algorithm itself. And you'll fare much better. John, social media. What are people doing wrong on social media?
The unsexy answer would be everything, unfortunately. I think we're in this really weird stage right now where it's just information and sensory overload. And I think that we're just in this world of, maybe that's the same bubble as AI, I'm not entirely sure, but clickbait. And I can give you some examples of that. The other day, I was scrolling through my lovely feed, and there's two things here. I actually want to add on top of that. There's also a level of negativity in the world of social media that just naturally attracts views and likes and everything else like that. So my two examples, there's a kid, I don't know if you heard about this, but there's a kid who recorded himself, I think he was in England, that basically broke into other people's homes and broke into other people's cars and had somebody record it the entire time. Now, obviously, this person went completely viral and to the point where TikTok, I believe, shut his account down, whether it was earlier today or yesterday. So like something like that is absolutely disgusting. Another example was the Kia incident, where the other example was, I don't know if you heard about the Kias, where it went viral on social media, where it showed an individual hot wiring a Kia, and then it trickled into other areas of the world where other people were stealing Kias, and the rise of Kias being stolen were astronomical. Those levels, those stories of the kid and the people that are breaking into homes and stealing things, that's what is cool nowadays. For some reason, there was a day where I would go through the suggested feed and I saw people getting shot, people getting into fights, and all these other negative things that were affecting my social. And I think a lot of businesses and a lot of influencers nowadays are using that to their advantage to gain attraction and likes and views. And I just fundamentally believe that that's just not what social media was originally intended for. I think social media was intended for positive things. It was intended for personal relationships, and it was used as a tool to connect with people you haven't been able to connect with before. And I think we're regressing so heavily where we're focusing so much on the negative and not on what's actually being done on a positive level. And I would love for brands, even though it's not sexy, right? Even though this conversation might be relatively boring to a lot of people, if you're investing in yourself and you're spending time to watch something, make sure that it's something that's going to deliver value to yourself and to your life, and not something that's just going to cloud up your brain with just filth and junk, and that leads to additional negativity. So I'd say, to answer the question that you asked, how are people doing social media wrong nowadays? I'd say they're doing it fundamentally at the root level of everything, and they need to be doing it better by promoting more positivity.
Yeah, I can see that. Definitely negative content for sure does get far more engagement than anything positive. And I think a lot of that is really the cathartic effect that people tend to have when they look at something negative. They go, oh, at least that's not me. That's not my car or whatever. They feel a bit better themselves. That's how, we tend to associate with negative content.
But do you think people are doing wrong in advertisements?
That's a good question. When it comes to advertisements, I feel like nowadays, almost everyone is doing ads wrong. Even the major brands, actually. The world today is more complex than it used to be. Before, there was simply print media where you can just have the same ad on the newspaper that could also go on the bus wrap, on billboards. People interacted with ads the same way. Nowadays, That's not true. Nowadays, the world is much more complex, and people are still designing one type of ad, and they're trying to make that work for every single platform, social media, every single placement. So if you're doing advertising, the first thing you need to do is understand people's psychology on various social network and various platform. I'll give you an example. On LinkedIn, okay, what is an ad that you think is going to do very well on LinkedIn? Something obviously professional, right? LinkedIn is a completely different platform than something that's on TikTok. On TikTok, what's going to do very well is, again, you guys have seen this. I'm going to try to describe it. It's like a screenshot in the background. And then your face is like hovering over the screenshot, very low resolution. You're pointing to the screenshot. It looks very low budget. But that ad format will work far better on TikTok, on Instagram Reels, possibly Facebook Reels than it would on LinkedIn. But advertisers are not doing that. They're not changing the ads based on the platform. So that's the first mistake. The second thing that almost every advertiser is currently doing wrong is they don't have these three things that creates a compelling ad. So if you want to know what creates the best compelling ad, this is it. Follow along. Number one, most ads that you're creating right now probably isn't identifying an audience. Is when you have this ad out there, is someone able to identify with it and go, that's me. You're talking about me, right? So that's number one. Number two, does your ad identify a problem or a solution for that specific audience? All right. And number three, this one's the one that I feel like so many companies are missing. Just why? Like, pay attention, okay? Number three is identifying what product or service you are. A lot of times, the company just assumes that you would know what they offer. No, that's not always true. You know the product. Your audience, your customer, this might be the first time seeing it. So you have to be clear. And a lot of times, people try to be clever instead of being clear. No. Be clear. You're not Apple. You're not Samsung. You can't afford to be clever yet. So those are the three things. Identify the audience, identify a problem or a solution, and also clearly identify what it is that you do. Now, when you're advertising, make sure you have at least 2 out of these 3 key criteria, and your ads are going to do exceptionally well. The last thing that I want to mention, this is more so for you guys who own a physical business. Let's say you own a nail salon, a restaurant of some sort. A lot of times you're hiring the wrong people to do your interior design. And I don't know if you have experience with this, John, but I see a lot of these things happening where you're hiring an interior designer who only does your interior design for you. And you don't know if that can even be created. So I happen to also be part of this company called Spencil, where they will actually do the interior design for your nail salon or for your restaurants. And what they will also do is make sure that they see it from beginning to completion. So you're not just getting the interior design, the 3D renderings, but they're also going to connect you with the contractors, architects, and all the services in between to actually get your business up and running. And that's something that you really need to look into. If you are a business that is looking to open a salon or a restaurant this year. Is there anything else you want to add in, John, before we wrap up?
I think this was a fun conversation that we've had, and I think hope that a lot of people that are watching and listening, I think that they will be able to apply the things that we're discussing into their business right away.
Yeah. And also, for those of you who are watching, this is our shameless plug for Penji. If you are a digital marketer, agency, or business owner that's looking to downsize or looking to upgrade your digital presence, go to penji.co today or .com, either one, and sign up. And our subscription starts at $499 a month, and you get everything from project manager, illustrator, designers, UX, UI. It's been a game changer for a lot of agencies. So give us a try. Sounds good. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next one.